should Errol Spence Jr. just call it quits with Terence Crawford? Like, realistically, guys, do we want to see Errol Spence back in the ring? Do we really think the rematch is going to be that different? Did the rib injury, did the eye injury, the cataract surgery, did it all really play that much of a role in the rematch to the point where we need to see it again? Or was that first fight just fine and dandy? Was that enough? Do we not need to see any more? Because realistically, I didn't like seeing Errol Spence take a beating like that. You guys know he was my pick, but at the same time, taking that aside, appreciating what Terence Crawford was able to do we realistically need to see this man in the same position that he was in the first fight? Like, I don't need to see that again. I don't think it's good for the man's health, even if the injuries did have an effect. I don't think I need to see the rematch. I think Terence Crawford might just be a more elite fighter, and that's fine. But, you know, that doesn't take away from the fact that Errol Spence was still on that pound-for-pound list. He could still be a pound-for-pound #2 fighter in the world. You fight a guy like Terence Crawford, that stuff happens when these certain styles collide. The elite fight the elite. Sometimes you do get a mismatch. That's just the way the sport works. It's interesting. But at the same time, I understand that Errol Spence has his pride. He's a champion as well. He's his own man. He gets to make those decisions. I understand that. But there's just also things outside of boxing for Errol Spence to do. You know, he's gonna be able to go back to his family, his lady, his his children. It's all about his children, you know, providing for them. At the same time, I think that Errol Spence is still very talented. I'm sure he has a lot left in him, but with the money that he's already been able to make over the past 5 or 6 years, where he's kind of been a cash cow in the welterweight division, I think that it's not necessary. He doesn't really need to prove anything. You know, he fought the best fighters in his division. He fought the people that everyone wanted to see him against. Realistically, it was only Terence Crawford and Errol Spence that we wanted to see. So for Errol Spence to say that he wants the rematch, you know, you can take it. That's fine. But at the same time, you know, there's other options to explore, and it just seems like a lot of people on boxing Twitter were talking about how Terence Crawford said, you know, it's over with. I wish you the best. He said that, but I think it was misconstrued and like interpreted the wrong way. So people were thinking that Terence Crawford's like moving on completely, but I don't think that's the case. I think that Errol Spence may very well still try to pursue that rematch, even if the outcome doesn't go his way. I think he's still going to take it, just because, you know, that's a check. You know, he's going to make a lot of money fighting Terence Crawford a second time, even though a lot of people are saying that they're not going to watch it. Come fight night, they're going to watch that fight, that rematch. But I always say it should take place at 54, just because I don't want Terence Crawford, you know, even though I was more so rooting for Errol Spence in the first fight because I thought he was going to win. But I don't want people to criticize Terence Crawford for fighting a rematch at 47. So I really want the fight to take place at 54, so people don't have anything to say against Terence Crawford. You know, the excuses would go out the window. But it's just interesting. You know, we always talk about injuries, you know, pre-existing injuries going into a mega fight. We know that Spence had to pull out of the Pacquiao fight because of the detached retina. And then, you know, you go into a fight against Danny Garcia. You go into a fight against Terence Crawford, the biggest fight of your life, and then you're going to pull out even though you do have a legit injury. It's just there's no way out. How do you explain that to people? Even though you have physical evidence of an injury, you know, people are going to talk. That's just the way boxing works. And Terence Crawford also said that we get checked. We get our eyes checked before the fight. But we know that, you know, in the sport of boxing, if you guys know, the people examining you, it's basic stuff. They're not doing a real eye exam. They're doing stuff like this. They're saying, how many fingers am I holding up? They're testing your balance. Can you walk in a straight line? That stuff's not indicative of, you know, if you need cataract surgery. We know that. So, like, realistically, let's not play dumb. That I'm not saying that the doctors, you know, examining people in the sport of boxing aren't legit, but also they're not doing a full exam. You know, who's gonna fund all that? That's not realistic. So I think that Errol Spence is still a champ. Errol Spence can still very well have a lot of success in a rematch. I just think that, you know, the overall health is what I'm more so alluding to, what I'm more so concerned about for Errol Spence Jr. Not to say that I don't understand that, you know, they chose this life. They're boxers, they're fighters. I understand that, but to the point where you're noticeably getting surgeries, you've been in multiple car accidents where, one, you got ejected out of your vehicle. Like, at what point do we say, okay, like, maybe this isn't, I don't need this anymore. You know, live to fight another day. Enjoy the rest of your life with your kids. You have a ranch, you have a farm, you have horses. Like, enjoy that, all that stuff. But, you know how Errol Spence is. He's a warrior. He's going to want to get back in that ring. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to write him off like he should definitely retire. I'm just saying, if I had those injuries and I have a certain amount of money, I'm going to start considering, hey, do I really need to do this anymore? Does that make sense? But, Errol Spence, we know he's a great champion. He's one of my favorite fighters. He'll always be one of my favorite fighters, one of the best jabs in boxing. But he just ran into a better fighter on that night against Terence Crawford. But it is what it is. But, would we like to see the rematch? Sure. But if not, I wouldn't be mad either. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about the potential of a Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. rematch. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That's going to do it for another Nads Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.